On December 4th, 1872, a ship drifts in the Atlantic. Its sails tattered, its deck silent, a ghostly vessel adrift in a sea of secrets. The DEI Gratia, a British merchant ship, spots it on the horizon and approaches, expecting to find signs of life. Sailors at work, a captain at the helm, perhaps a child's laughter echoing across the deck. But what they discover is chilling, a scene that will haunt maritime history for over a century. The ship is abandoned, not a soul remains. This is the Mary Celeste, a ghost ship that has baffled the world for more than 150 years, her name synonymous with the unexplainable. What could have driven her crew to vanish, leaving behind a seaworthy vessel, a ship that should have been teeming with life? Join us as we unravel this maritime mystery, a tale woven with threads of fear, uncertainty, and the unknown, set against the backdrop of the 19th century. A time when the sea was both a lifeline for global trade and a graveyard for the unwary. The Atlantic Ocean, vast and merciless, was a realm where storms could rise without warning, where currents could pull a ship off course, and where the line between survival and disaster was razor-thin. The DEI Gratia's crew boards the ship, their boots echoing on the wooden deck, a sound unnaturally loud in the oppressive stillness that surrounds them. They find no one, just silence, broken only by the creak of the ship's timbers and the mournful howl of the wind, a haunting scene that sets the stage for one of history's greatest enigmas, a mystery that has defied explanation for generations. The air is thick with the scent of salt and decay, the ship's hull groaning as if it carries the weight of its own tragic story, a vessel left to the mercy of the elements. The ocean stretches endlessly around the ship, a vast uncharted expanse that has swallowed countless secrets over the centuries, its depths hiding the fates of those who dared to cross its surface. The Mary Celeste drifts aimlessly, her sails flapping in the wind like the wings of a wounded bird, a ghostly silhouette against the stormy sky. A vessel abandoned to the mercy of the sea, a mystery that has endured for generations, captivating all who hear her story, drawing them into a web of questions with no answers. The horizon is a jagged line of dark clouds, lightning flickering in the distance, a reminder of the ocean's untamed power. The 19th century was a time of exploration and danger, when ships like the Mary Celeste were the only link between continents, carrying goods, people and dreams across treacherous waters. The Atlantic was a graveyard for many, its storms and currents claiming lives without mercy, leaving behind tales of loss and mystery that echo through time, stories whispered in port taverns and written in the logs of those who survived. Sailors knew the risks: disease, starvation, shipwrecks, but they sailed anyway, driven by necessity, ambition, or the call of adventure, their lives a gamble against the sea's unpredictable wrath. Sailors of that era lived with the constant threat of disaster, their lives governed by the whims of the sea, a force that could be both beautiful and deadly, a shimmering expanse of blue one moment, a raging tempest the next. The Mary Celeste story is a stark reminder of that reality, a tale that captures the imagination with its blend of the ordinary and the unexplainable, a mystery that invites us to ponder the unknown, to imagine what could have happened on that fateful voyage. It's a story that resonates with our deepest fears, of isolation, of abandonment, of forces beyond our control, a narrative that pulls us into the heart of the 19th century maritime world. Her name, painted on the hull in faded letters, stands as a testament to her eerie fate. A name that has become synonymous with the unexplainable, a symbol of the ocean's power to erase lives without a trace. A story that continues to haunt maritime history, drawing us into the depths of the unknown with every retelling. In an era before radio or radar, ships like the Mary Celeste were isolated, entirely at the mercy of the elements, their crews facing the unknown with nothing but their wits, their faith, and the fragile wooden walls of their vessel. A reality that makes the ship's abandonment all the more chilling. A mystery that speaks to the fragility of human life against the vast, untamed sea. Subscribe for more unsolved mysteries, and let's dive into the enigma of the Mary Celeste, a tale that will leave you questioning the boundaries of reality itself. The Mary Celeste, a 282-ton brigantine, was built in 1861 in Nova Scotia, a region renowned for its shipbuilding prowess, her design crafted to endure the Atlantic's most brutal storms. She was a sturdy vessel, her hull made of oak, her masts towering and strong, a ship meant to carry her crew through the perils of the open sea. But from the moment she was launched, misfortune seemed to cling to her like a shadow. Originally named the Amazon, her early years were marked by a series of grim events. Her first captain died on her maiden voyage, a sudden illness claiming him before the ship even reached its destination. She collided with other vessels in busy ports, her hull battered by accidents that left her owners shaken. In 1867, a fire broke out in her hold, nearly destroying her, a disaster that seemed to confirm her cursed reputation. Renamed Mary Celeste in 1869, her owners hoped for a fresh start, a chance to shed her troubled past and chart a new course to prove that she could be a reliable vessel in an era where reliability meant survival. The name change was symbolic, a nod to hope and renewal, but the ship's dark history lingered in the minds of those who knew her story, a whisper of bad luck that followed her across the waves. On November 7, 1872, she set sail from New York to Genoa, Italy, carrying 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, a cargo worth $35,000, a small fortune at the time, but also a dangerous burden. The industrial alcohol was a volatile substance, its fumes capable of igniting with the slightest spark, a constant risk in the ship's hold where the air was thick and the space confined. The Mary Celeste was a product of her time, a time when ships were the backbone of global trade, connecting continents in an era before steamships dominated the seas. Her cargo was destined for factories in Genoa, where it would be used to produce goods for a rapidly industrializing Europe, a testament to the economic ambitions of the 1870s, but also a reminder of the era's lack of safety standards, where profit often trumped precaution and sailors bore the brunt of the risks. Captain Benjamin Briggs, a 37-year-old from Massachusetts, led the voyage, a respected and religious man known for his discipline, his faith, and his deep sense of duty to his crew and his family. He was the son of a sea captain raised on the shores of New England, where the sea was both a way of life and a constant threat. Briggs had spent his life on the water, navigating the Atlantic's treacherous routes, earning a reputation as a steady hand, a man who could be trusted to bring his ship safely to port. He brought his wife Sarah and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia on this journey, a decision that reflected his confidence in the voyage, but also his desire to keep his family close during the long months at sea, a choice that was unusual for the time, but spoke to the personal stakes of this particular trip. They were joined by 7 crew members, a carefully chosen team of experienced sailors, each selected for their skill and reliability. First mate Albert Richardson was a seasoned mariner from Maine, known for his calm demeanour under pressure. The German brothers Volkert and Bos Lorenzen brought years of experience from their time on merchant ships in the North Sea, their strength and teamwork invaluable on a long voyage. The rest of the crew, men like Edward Head and Andrew Gilling, were equally capable, a group built to handle the challenges of the Atlantic, from sudden storms to the monotony of weeks at sea. Together, they formed a tight-knit unit, a small community bound by the shared risks of their profession. The voyage began with promise. The ship leaving New York Harbor under a clear sky, her sails catching the wind, a sight that filled the crew with hope for a smooth journey. The log recorded calm seas for the first few weeks, the ship making steady progress across the Atlantic, her course set for Genoa. But on November 25th, 400 miles east of the Azores, the log entries stopped abruptly, a sudden silence that marked the beginning of the mystery. The Azores, a remote cluster of islands in the middle of the Atlantic, were a place of stunning beauty but also of danger, their waters known for unpredictable weather and strong currents that could challenge even the most experienced sailors, a location that would become a pivotal point in the Mary Celeste story, the last known moment of normalcy before the Enigma unfolded. The ship was made for endurance, her hull crafted to withstand the ocean's fury, her design a testament to the skill of Nova Scotia's shipbuilders, who had spent generations perfecting their craft. But her history of bad luck cast a shadow over every journey, a curse that seemed to linger in her timbers, a whisper of doom that followed her across the waves. The crew knew her story. Sailors are a superstitious lot, and tales of the Amazon's misfortunes would have been shared in hushed tones during the long nights at sea, a reminder of the risks they faced, a shadow that loomed over their every move. The cargo of industrial alcohol was a ticking time bomb, a substance that could ignite with the slightest spark, a danger that every sailor on board was acutely aware of, a risk that required constant vigilance. The ship's hold was a confined space where fumes could build up quickly, creating a potentially explosive atmosphere, a threat that would have weighed heavily on Briggs's mind as he navigated the Atlantic, his every decision coloured by the need to keep his crew and his family safe. The 1870s were a time of rapid change, where the demands of industry pushed ships and their crews to their limits, a time when the line between progress and peril was razor thin, a context that underscores the danger the Mary Celeste faced even before the mystery began. Last log entry, November 25th, 1872. On December 4th, 1872, the DEI Gratia's captain, David Morehouse, spotted the Mary Celeste adrift 400 miles off the coast of Portugal, her movement strange. Sails partially set, yet no clear course, as if abandoned in haste, a ship adrift, with no one to guide her. Morehouse, a seasoned mariner with years of experience on the Atlantic, knew something was wrong the moment he saw her. Her erratic path a stark contrast to the disciplined navigation he expected from a vessel like the Mary Celeste. He ordered his crew to approach, their ship cutting through the choppy waves, the tension on board palpable as they drew closer to the silent Brigantine. Morehouse knew Briggs. They had dined together in New York just weeks before, sharing stories of the sea, their families, and their hopes for the voyage ahead. A moment of camaraderie that now felt like a distant memory. What he found was devastating, a scene that would haunt him for the rest of his days, a mystery that would forever link their names in maritime lore. The Mary Celeste was seaworthy, her hull intact, her masts standing tall, with only a small amount of water in the hold, not enough to suggest a ship in distress. The cargo was mostly intact, except for 9 barrels that had leaked, their contents seeping into the wood, leaving a faint, acrid smell in the air. Personal items were untouched, frozen in time as if the crew had vanished mid-task. A half-eaten meal sat in the galley, the bread still soft, the stew cold but undisturbed. A Bible lay open to Psalms on the captain's desk, its pages fluttering in the breeze. A child's doll, likely Sophia's, rested near the helm, its porcelain face staring blankly at the sky. A poignant reminder of the family on board, a symbol of the innocence lost in this tragedy. The lifeboat was missing, as were the sextant, logbook and chronometer, suggesting a deliberate departure, a decision made in haste but with purpose. The compass was shattered, its needle spinning erratically, adding an eerie element to the scene, a malfunction that would later fuel wild speculation about what had happened. Morehouse's men searched every cabin, from the captain's quarters to the crew's bunks, hoping for clues, their footsteps echoing in the empty ship, their voices hushed as they called out for survivors. They found no signs of a fight, no blood, no broken furniture, no evidence of a struggle, just an eerie silence that hung heavy in the air, a silence that seemed to whisper secrets they couldn't decipher. The food supply was plentiful, with provisions for 6 months, enough to sustain the crew for the rest of their journey. Water barrels were full, their contents untouched. The stove in the galley was still warm, as if the crew had been cooking moments before, a detail that made their absence all the more baffling. It looked as if the crew had stepped off minutes ago, but had never returned, leaving behind a ship frozen in time, a snapshot of a moment when life aboard had stopped, a scene that defied logic and reason. The odour of alcohol lingered, a faint chemical scent clinging to the wood, unnoticed at first by Morehouse's crew but later recognised as a critical clue. A hint at what might have driven the crew to flee, a piece of the puzzle that would become central to the mystery. The ship's deck was scattered with ropes and tools as if the crew had been working when they left, their tasks abandoned in an instant, a testament to the suddenness of their departure. Morehouse was shaken, the personal connection making the discovery all the more haunting his mind, racing with questions as he stood on the empty deck. The last time he saw Briggs, he had been full of pride and optimism, eager to complete the journey with his family by his side, his daughter Sophia playing at his feet as they spoke of the future. Now, only an empty vessel remained, a ghost ship adrift on the open sea, its silence a stark contrast to the laughter and life Morehouse had expected to find. The DEI Gratia's crew stood in stunned silence, the wind howling around them, the ship creaking as if whispering its secrets, a scene that would haunt them forever, a mystery that would echo through history. The eerie stillness of the ship was palpable. The only sounds the creaking of the timbers and the distant cry of a seabird, a stark contrast to the bustling life that should have filled the deck. A silence that spoke volumes about the suddenness of the crew's departure, a moment that continues to captivate and confound. The Mary Celeste seemed to carry the weight of her own tragedy, her timbers groaning under the strain of the wind, her sails flapping like a death knell, a vessel abandoned to the mercy of the sea, a ghost ship that would become a legend, a story that would endure for generations. Found December 4th, 1872. Speculation erupted as the world demanded answers. The mystery of the Mary Celeste, capturing the public's imagination, a puzzle that refused to be solved. What could make 10 souls vanish from a seaworthy vessel without a trace, leaving behind a ship that seemed untouched by disaster? A vessel that should have been a safe haven for its crew. The question haunted sailors, scholars and storytellers alike, each offering their own explanation, each theory a reflection of the fears and fascinations of the 19th century. Theory 1. Mutiny or piracy. Some suspected mutiny. Perhaps the crew killed brigs for profit, driven by the valuable cargo of industrial alcohol in the hold, a shipment worth a small fortune in 1872. Or had pirates attacked, boarding the ship in the dead of night, taking the crew and leaving the vessel to drift? The idea of mutiny was not uncommon in the 19th century, a time when tensions aboard ships could boil over, especially on long voyages where food was scarce and tempers flared. But there was no violence, no struggle, no stolen cargo, no signs of a fight that would suggest such a violent end. Briggs had chosen his crew carefully. First mate Albert Richardson and the others had no motive, no history of unrest, their loyalty to their captain well documented by those who knew them. Theory 2. Natural disaster. Could a rogue wave or waterspout have struck, forcing a panicked evacuation? The crew fleeing into the lifeboat as the sea roared around them? The Atlantic was known for its sudden, violent storms, a terror for any sailor, its waves capable of swallowing a ship whole, its winds strong enough to snap masts like twigs. Waterspouts, tornadoes over water, were a known hazard, their funnel clouds a terrifying sight for any mariner, but the ship was intact, her masts standing, her hull undamaged, her deck showing no signs of a storm's wrath. The weather had cleared by the time the DI Gratia arrived, the sea calm, the sky clear. A panicked escape doesn't explain the missing navigational tools, carefully taken by the crew, a deliberate act that suggests they intended to navigate, not simply flee. Theory 3. Alcohol fumes. This theory has gained credibility among modern researchers, offering a scientific explanation for the crew's disappearance. 9 barrels had leaked, their fumes filling the hold, a confined space where vapours could build to dangerous levels, creating a potential for explosion with the slightest spark. Fearing an explosion, the crew might have fled in the lifeboat, intending to return once the danger passed, a temporary evacuation to ensure their safety. But something went wrong. Perhaps a sudden storm or strong currents swept them away, the lifeboat too small to withstand the Atlantic's fury, leaving the Mary Celeste to drift alone, her crew lost to the waves. Modern studies of industrial alcohol suggest that even a small leak could produce enough fumes to cause alarm, especially in a poorly ventilated hold, a scenario that fits the evidence found on the ship. Theory 4. Supernatural. Stories spread of sea monsters, alien abductions, even time warps, wild tales of the Bermuda Triangle, though the ship was far from that region, her position well documented in the Atlantic. Some whispered of the Kraken, a mythical beast said to drag ships to the ocean floor, its tentacles wrapping around the hull in a deadly embrace. Others spoke of ghostly apparitions, of voices in the fog, of forces beyond human understanding. All fantasy, but the absence of facts left room for wonder, reflecting the 19th century fascination with the unknown. A time when the sea was a realm of mystery and terror, where the boundaries of reality could blur, giving rise to tales of the impossible. These stories, while far-fetched, highlight the human need to explain the unexplainable, a tendency to turn to the fantastical when logic fails. A hybrid theory? Maybe it was a combination of factors. Fumes sparked panic, poor visibility from a storm obscured their path. A navigational error from the broken compass led them astray, and a snapped lifeboat rope sealed their fate, the crew unable to return to the ship as the sea claimed them. Perhaps the crew, fearing the fumes, opened the hatches to ventilate the hold, only to be caught in a sudden squall. the lifeboat torn from its moorings, the crew left to the mercy of the waves. A tragic series of events, one that left no survivors, no answers, a chain of misfortune that turned a routine voyage into a haunting mystery, a cascade of errors that spiraled into disaster. Each theory speaks to the fears of the age. Mutiny reflects the tensions aboard ships where discipline was a matter of survival. Natural disasters, the ocean's untamed power, a force that could strike without warning. Alcohol fumes, the dangers of early industrial cargo, a reminder of the risks of progress. And the supernatural, the era's superstitions, a time when the sea was a place of both wonder and dread, a realm where the impossible seemed possible. The truth? Still adrift, lost to the waves, a puzzle that may never be solved, a mystery that continues to captivate with its unanswered questions, a story that invites us to imagine the unimaginable, to step into the shoes of a crew facing the unknown. Theory 1, mutiny or piracy. Theory 2, natural disaster. Theory 3, alcohol explosion. Theory 4, supernatural. The Mary Celeste was towed to Gibraltar, where officials launched a 3-month inquiry, a spectacle that drew attention from across the maritime world as experts examined every inch of the ship and interviewed the DEI Gratia's crew, searching for answers to a mystery that seemed to defy explanation. No foul play was found, the ship's condition offering no clear evidence of violence or disaster, but suspicions lingered. Some whispered that Morehouse might have staged the abandonment, perhaps for salvage rights, a claim that haunted him despite the court's dismissal, a shadow that followed him as he returned to sea, his name forever tied to the mystery. The Mary Celeste's reputation as a cursed ship spread quickly, her name whispered in port taverns and maritime circles as a harbinger of doom, a vessel that brought misfortune to all who sailed her. She changed owners several times, each hoping to profit from her notoriety, each believing they could outrun her curse. But her dark history followed her, a legacy of tragedy that seemed to cling to her timbers. In 1885, she was deliberately wrecked off Haiti in an insurance scam, her final owner attempting to claim a payout by running her aground, a sad end to her physical journey, a betrayal of the ship that had once braved the Atlantic's fury. Her physical story ended, but her legend had only begun, a tale that would echo through the ages, captivating all who heard it, a mystery that refused to fade into obscurity. Arthur Conan Doyle published a fictionalized account in 1884, blending fact and fiction in a way that captivated readers, his story, J. Habakkuk Jeffson's statement, adding layers of intrigue to the mystery, introducing details like a half-eaten breakfast and a sword on the deck, elements that were pure invention but became part of the myth. Many mistook it for fact, the line between reality and fiction blurring, a testament to the story's power to grip the imagination. The story captured imaginations worldwide, spawning dozens of films, books and investigations, each attempting to unravel the enigma of the Mary Celeste, each offering a new perspective on a mystery that seemed to grow with every retelling. Documentaries explored the ship's history, novels imagined the crew's final moments, and researchers pored over the evidence, each generation adding to the legend. The Mary Celeste became a cultural touchstone, her name a shorthand for the unexplainable, a symbol of the unknown that resonated across time, a story that spoke to our deepest fears and fascinations, a mystery that invited endless speculation. Modern researchers revisited the evidence, using science to explore the alcohol fumes theory, suggesting the crew may have fled in fear of an explosion, only to be lost at sea, their lifeboat overwhelmed by the Atlantic's waves. Most agree it's the most plausible explanation, supported by the leaking barrels and the lack of fire damage on the ship. A scenario that fits the evidence but still leaves questions unanswered. But without survivors or definitive proof, the truth remains lost, a mystery that continues to elude us. A puzzle that may never be solved, a story that reminds us of the limits of human knowledge, the sea's ability to keep its secrets. Today, the Mary Celeste's name endures as shorthand for unsolved mysteries, a symbol of the unknown that resonates across generations, a story that continues to captivate with its blend of tragedy and enigma. Museums preserve her artifacts, a child's doll, a sextant, a piece of her hull, silent relics of a vanished crew, each item a piece of the puzzle, a reminder of the lives lost and the questions that remain, a tangible link to a past that refuses to be forgotten. The doll, likely Sophia's, is a particularly haunting artifact, its porcelain face a symbol of the innocence lost. A reminder of the human cost of the mystery, a story that continues to tug at the heartstrings of all who hear it. She is more than a ship. She is a symbol of fear, of wonder, of unanswered questions, a testament to the ocean's power to keep its secrets, a story that speaks to our fascination with the unexplainable, a mystery that will likely endure for centuries to come. The Mary Celeste's influence extends beyond literature and film, inspiring everything from songs to video games, her story woven into the fabric of popular culture, a testament to her lasting impact, a mystery that continues to spark curiosity and wonder, a legacy that shows no signs of fading even after more than a century. What do you think happened aboard the Mary Celeste? Comment below and subscribe for more Mysteries with Obscura, where we explore the unknown and uncover the stories that history forgot. Please consider subscribing, liking the video and popping a comment. Make this old man happy.